Protest Nation hits Trump Tower. John Hopkins gets doged, and CNN allegedly destroys evidence. This is Propaganda Report. I'm Brad Binkley, joined by Ian Covell. Ian, the Girl Scouts are being sued. Do you like Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, I mean, I like Girl Scout cookies. Sure, what's not to like about them? Everyone loves a good Thin Mint.
Well, might find out what's not to like about them here.
What's
a
that?
New York woman is suing them, proposing
a
a
New
class.
York woman, huh? That's like
Right.
Florida man.
I don't like these cookies. Yeah, she's proposing a class action lawsuit, claiming that the cookies contain heavy metals and pesticides, and the suit is based on a study commissioned by the Moms Across America and GMO Science Group, whatever that is, which says it found aluminum, arsenic, cadmium, so that is lead and mercury, in 100% of the cookies they tested. They tested cookies. Well, I'll tell you how many cookies they tested.
All three of those things.
Do what?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Those are all what make them good, I guess.
Yeah.
But the lawsuit's seeking millions of dollars in damages and has accused the Girl Scouts of making false claims about the safety and quality of their cookies. Now, the article says that the study's reliability is questioned because it was neither peer-reviewed nor published in a scientific journal because, people have never gotten fake studies peer-reviewed and published in scientific journals before.
Never.
So therefore, everything in them, you must have that in order to be credible. I don't think that helps the case throwing that in there with this article. But the findings of the study were based on what this article says was a limited sample, with cookies tested from 3 states. That's a lot. I mean, that's 6% of the states. Why would they be different in other states? I don't know how many cookies specifically they tested.
Did they say which states?
No. Well, they probably did. It didn't in this article here. I have like a short clip of the video that went viral that I'll play here in a second. But it says trace amounts of all substances found in the Girl Scout cookies are also found in many everyday foods.
I was going to say, I bet the trace amounts of that stuff is found in everything.
Right.
Everything.
That's part of which would RFK Jr. would be saying that. That's my point. That's my point.
It's a Girl Scout cookie money grab. Either way, it's going to work out good for the Girl Scouts.
I don't know that it will.
Now I'm going to go buy some cookies. Fuck this New York lady.
I'm absolutely not going to go buy them.
Why not? Why? You're going to believe some New York lady?
Yeah. Until they do a study on them, I'm going to. I'm trying to eat healthy.
Whatever, dude. I don't believe New York ladies. Sorry.
You're gonna double down.
I'm doubling down.
It's not her. It's a test. It was a commission. It was a study commissioned, and she's the one that brought the lawsuit on behalf of what will end up being a number of other people. So this is Atlanta, Fox local affiliate. This is actually this woman here is
toxic Girl
one of
Scout
our friends used to work with her husband.
Toxic Girl.
Here it is.
Scout cookies. Researchers with GMOscience.org say yes, they contain ingredients linked to autism and cancer. They tested the cookies for the presence of aluminum, arsenic, lead, and mercury. 88% of the samples contained all of these. Every cookie tested contained the active ingredient in the weed killer Roundup, and 96% contained lead. The Girl Scouts say in a statement their cookies are produced by trusted licensed bakers who adhere to rigorous standards set by the FDA and other agencies.
That was actually like a 9-year-old that was standing behind a podium, and there's journalists in her face and photographers. Rigorous standards, he said.
Nothing wrong with my Girl Scout cookies.
I tell you what, I plan on being at the Walmart parking lot tomorrow protesting these Girl Scouts. I'm going to bring signs. I'm going to demand answers. Maybe I'll do a chant like Girl Scouts. We have our doubts. Toss a few Molotov cocktails, perhaps. It's time they get theirs.
This just sounds like a hit job against the Girl Scouts.
Who wants to go after the Girl Scouts?
Probably the trans Girl Scouts.
Okay, could be the Boy Scouts. Could be the trans Girl Scouts.
Boy Scouts are dead. They already got that. They already took them out.
What do the Boy Scouts sell?
Nothing, dude. I don't think they exist anymore.
Yeah.
Do they even exist anymore?
They might have changed the name. I think they exist.
I think they called it just the Scouts of America.
There was something where they did change the name, and there was some controversy around all of that.
Oh, yeah, now it's called Scouting America. You know what? Fuck it. It's dead to me.
Right. Well.
Dead to me.
If we're going to... What's up, Cosmic Cowboy? What's up, Bad Christian? I don't think they should be shielded from protest. I think they should be investigated, and I think we need some of these Girl Scouts selling these toxic cookies to us, very delicious cookies, to testify on Capitol Hill. Really, let RFK be up there, even though he's not a congressman. But I'd like to see him ask questions, see what those girls actually know about what they're peddling. They're drug dealers.
Maybe they can get some fentanyl.
It wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of fentanyl laced in those Thin Mints.
Girl Scout mules.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a new cookie flavor.
Yeah, Boy Scouts were canceled. The mule cookie, the fentanyl mule cookie.
Just call them,
did you see the story yesterday where
Samoas are good?
Yeah, they're all good. They're all very good. But I'm glad I have a reason not to eat them
dude. It's the Roundup.
Well, I wake up every morning and I don't use mouthwash. I just spray Roundup in my mouth.
Here's the reality. If you're eating enough Girl Scout cookies to be affected by the trace amounts of the pesticides and stuff in there, you're kind of a piece of shit.
Can you not eat a sleeve? I mean, if you eat a sleeve at a time, dude.
Once a year you do that.
You stock up.
Who stocks up?
Show me your freezer. And if I don't see dozens of boxes of those things.
Sweets. I don't keep that. I don't keep a large amount of sweets in the house, Brad.
I bet you keep Roundup in the garage.
I bet I drink Roundup like it's going out of style.
Yeah. Adds a little flavor to the fentanyl. That's how you drink it? You drink.
It's got a little spray nozzle.
Yeah. Cosmic Cowboy says beef tallow cookies only, like Steak and Shake and a few others did. And they are like $6 a box now.
Yeah.
There was a story yesterday about this cop who.
It's because of tariffs.
Critical condition.
Girl Scout cookie tariffs. What's that?
This cop was in critical condition or something yesterday because he smoked the fentanyl that he had confiscated from a crime scene.
Why?
Had to have Narcan
to test it.
On.
To test it.
I guess so.
I'm going to test to make sure this fentanyl's real.
A lot of times, fentanyl exposure.
They don't have to get much on them. I think they can get I've seen a video of a cop who just touched a little bit of it, and they started to foam.
That's what I'm saying.
Convulsions.
Why would you smoke it? You know how toxic it can be. You're a police officer, and so I'm gonna sneak back around. I'm gonna sneak and smoke some of this.
I'll bet these fucking pussies. I'm gonna show these pussies.
Yeah, he got fired.
Fucking dying of fentanyl. If you die of fentanyl, you're a pussy.
Roger, could you come in here? I'm gonna need your badge and your gun because we're firing you. Why? Well, you smoked fentanyl from the evidence room, and we had to use.
Yeah, I had to make sure it was really fentanyl.
Give me your badge.
And now we know.
Give me the rest of the fentanyl.
Come on, I was gonna smoke it later.
No, you need to get out of here. So. He smoked in the police station bathroom. Said bad Christian. Yeah, I remember that now. So, did you see these protests that came to Trump Tower? I'll put this up on screen and we'll talk about it.
I was there, Brad. Yeah, I was protesting.
You were there?
Yeah.
Are you outside the Trump Tower right now?
No, this is
Freedom
crazy.
News TV here.
This is happening right now?
No, this was earlier today. Yeah.
Oh, those are the elevators. The escalator. I want to ride that escalator.
Was that the famous escalator?
Yeah, I want to ride that escalator.
You know, Melania's always there. She'll ride down with you.
Really?
For $5,000.
$5 a ride.
Yeah. You get more than $5 a ride. So that's called a sit-in. That's what they're also doing at Tesla dealerships and the Capitol in every state right now. And they're going to be doing next week during recess, where they go in there.
You called
it, Brad.
Signs. You said they were going to do these little tiny protests.
I went through all of those resources last night of Indivisible, which showed it because they sent another email with all the resources, telling exactly what they're going to do from the 15th to the 23rd. And then Rachel Maddow later that night was talking about it also, which if we have time, I'll show you some of that. But
oh yeah,
this protest here is a lot of people are talking about this because it's very, very controversial. It was like a couple hundred protesters were in the lobby there in New York City, and demanding the release of Mohammed Khalil, who's a pro-Palestinian activist and Columbia University graduate who was detained by ICE on March 8th. And what he did, or the protest, I should say, was organized by the Jewish Voice for Peace. They had 98 people arrested. They had banners. They come in with regular shirts on so that they're not suspected. Then they all rip them off at once, like Improv Everywhere does, like we were talking about earlier. But the protest was sparked by his detention, which his lawyer says, and I'll tell you what ICE says next. His lawyer says is a retaliation for his advocacy for Palestinian rights, and his green card was revoked. He had a permanent resident green card, and he faces deportation under the accusations of being pro-Hamas, which his supporters deny that he's at, but ICE claims that he engaged in activities associated with Hamas, including organizing protests at Columbia University, where pro-Hamas materials were disseminated. He says he was just a negotiator between students and whoever they were negotiating with.
I was just trying to help out, man. I was just trying to help out.
Well, I'll tell you what this guy is, because I did some research into him, which nobody's really focusing on that aspect of it. They're more focusing on free speech versus deport maybe what's somebody who's being called a terrorist. But the arrest was part of the Trump administration's broader effect to deport individuals deemed adversarial to U.S. foreign policy and national security interests under executive orders targeting anti-Semitism, which right there, that's a little bit of a problem, I think. Like, because anti-Semitism is just like racism. It's just like anytime somebody says something that is not liked by those in power, they call it an ism. I've probably been called anti-Semite, which I'm not. But if you question Bibi Netanyahu, you're an anti-Semite. A lot of people in Israel question Bibi Netanyahu. I think Bibi Netanyahu used to fund Hamas right up until October 7th. He was facilitating millions of dollars going to Hamas, yet he's allowed in the White House. So this broad definition, because there's no concrete example of what this is, anti-Semitism can be applied to anybody when somebody says something that's disliked. So I don't like that, not one bit. But the federal judge has temporarily blocked this guy's deportation. So my thoughts on this, and we'll see what you think, is I don't think people should be deported by protesting in opposition of the government. I think all protests are astroturf, though. That's a caveat on that. And I think this guy's an operative, probably working for the British. Is what I actually think he is. But if they're going to deport him and they're going to use it as a precedent, they need to make a case beyond reasonable doubt. I know people say he's not a citizen. That's fine. I don't care. They need to make a case beyond reasonable doubt that there was evidence that he was actually trying to spread terrorism. And they need to have concrete definition of that is, because something like this can be applied in ways that, it can give a little bit too much power to the government, in my opinion, when we don't really have specific concrete definitions and isms are being used as the basis of it. What are your thoughts? And I got a couple more things.
Well,
I'll tell you about the guy after this.
Yeah, I mean, the guy sounds, from what little I know, he's just a real distasteful piece of shit, and a forever student. Just one of those people who's going to be in the college system forever.
He graduated. That's
what I mean. He might be post grad, right? But he graduated, but he's still involved with students. He's going to be one of those people.
Right.
He's going to be involved with student life and campus He's going to be involved with that forever. He's one of those really fucking annoying people who stays in college or associated with college forever.
Right.
Yeah, I got mixed feelings about it. I definitely think it's what they're obviously doing is they're trying to. The economy's not going so well right now, and even though they say they planned on that, this is another win in the 80-20 issues that Trump is 80 on, right? And if you're deporting this high-level guy, that takes a lot of the news cycle away from tariffs and away from the stock market. and focused on something that drives the left absolutely crazy. They can't stand that he's doing this.
Well, libertarians don't like this either.
Yeah,
so
it seems like a bit
80-20. This is a little more
I get
middle of
it.
the road.
It seems like a little bit of a troll, but they're not talking about the economy. So
right. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, and I think a lot of people, I think the Trump base is like, fuck, kick that motherfucker out.
I would agree. We have bad Christian here. My thoughts deport his ass. I understand the sentiment, and if they produce evidence that it shows that he's doing a little bit more than just being a protester against a position.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing that what he's talking about on college campuses does need to be countered, right? We start marching around saying that you want Western civilization to end while you are benefiting off of all of the fruits of Western civilization.
Do we know that he said? I don't know what messages he said. I haven't heard.
Yeah, these are things that apparently he said.
Okay.
You know that he's written these you know he's written these things. They're publicly available. Apparently he said he's not a big fan of Western civilization.
Right. Yeah, but you're right. He's benefiting off of it greatly.
I'm not a fan of people who say they're not a fan of Western civilization. So I have no sympathy for this guy. I get it. I understand what you're saying, but I'm kind of this one. I'm just like I'm letting this wave pass. I'm not going to surf this one.
Right.
You know?
Well, he ain't getting deported. That's my prediction here.
That's probably
bad Christian
probably
here
right.
says he's not a protester. He's an agitator. He's an agent provocateur, and that's kind of where I was going with this. He's an agent for sure.
Yeah.
In all of these protests, whether it's ones against Elon Musk or whether it's this one or whether whatever, they all have a little bit of provocateuring going on, and they all claim to be grassroots, but none of them are grassroots. But this dude. Let me find the information I have about him. I've just done a little bit of research on him, which I'm going to do more later to find out about these organizations he's tied to. My prediction is he's not getting deported. If he does, then something happens where he comes back shortly, and then in 5 years he will through naturalization, he will be a citizen and he will run for office as a Democrat and probably get elected because that is what he's being trained to do. This is an AOC type figure. This is somebody who's being trained to do this, and this is the type of thing. Being deported is probably in his plan because it's the best thing that can happen to somebody who has aspirations to be in Congress.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's their credit. They tell a story.
Right.
They say, I've been persecuted. Here's what it's like. Here's why you should vote for me. They need these stories. They plan on getting these stories.
I guess
the dude's been here since 2022.
I guess
He's
my
only been
feeling
here
is
2 years.
right, and I get it. I guess and I'm thinking through some feelings here, Brad. But one of the feelings I'm thinking through right now is, well, okay, so if anyone who's comes here gets to benefit from our constitutional protections, right? I get it. We want to we want to respect human rights and that kind of stuff. But at some point, it's like, no, he doesn't get the same protection as me. He's not a fucking American citizen. I'm sorry. And if there is a trigger that the government can pull to get someone, just because they don't like the fact that this guy likes to eat, pineapple and bacon on his pizza, they want to deport him. I kind of don't give a shit. He's not an American citizen. It's hard for me to go, oh yeah, we got to save this guy. It's hard for me to get behind it.
Right.
I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is,
I'm not mad at you.
He's not going to get deported.
I'm thinking through some feelings, man.
Yeah, he's not going to get deported, is what I'm saying.
He's probably not. You're right.
To counter that, I would say you just want to be careful about how anti-Semitism is used.
Oh, sure.
And while it might feel good to want somebody that you don't like the positions, even though you're right, he's not a citizen, and that's going to be the basis of some of the argument. You still don't want so much power being given on the basis of we can call somebody an anti-Semite and then take government action against them, because there's no definition of that.
I agree. I don't think it's any one of these things. I think they're trying to get a whole bunch of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff they what their justifications are things that like you said, well, he's supporting a terrorist organization. You can't come on campus and if you're not a citizen and you're an outside agitator and you're coming on campus and saying things that, whether it's overtly pro Hamas or not, we all know what people are saying, right? Whether it's not like
they'll litigate that in court since the judge. So we'll find out.
Yeah, so we're gonna find out. I used to try to, I hate talking about the Israel-Palestine thing, but
Right,
I always found it. I always thought it was interesting. I mean, I'm of the opinion that Hamas could have ended it. I mean, I get it. People are like, no, not that. Israel would have just continued their whatever. But Hamas technically could have just given all those hostages back and ended everything. They could have.
Yeah,
they could have saved all the bombing.
I think that
they could have saved all
together,
that. They could have saved all. They could have just given all the hostages back.
No, I agree, but Bibi Netanyahu was helping.
I agree with
fund
that
them.
too. I agree with that too.
All the people in power there are working
Multiple
together.
things could be true at the same time.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
But so that was never in the plan. I don't think that. Yeah, I think that
Correct.
all of this was playing out exactly the way Bibi wants it to, and I think that situation is one. I don't know anything. I've never been over there. I've never been to any of the other regions in the country that they're war torn that nobody talks about. And
sure.
And
we're lucky to not have to deal with it.
I'm happy to not be over there. And I'd rather talk about a story we're going to end on later, which is a coregasm, which is, I'll tell you what that is towards the end of the show. But this is definitely an issue that can be used to create explosive news cycles, to take attention.
Sure,
away
and that's
from,
exactly
like
what
you
it's
said,
doing.
yeah.
I think.
So here's this guy's little background on this guy. First came here in 2022. Only been here couple years. He got married in 2023, graduated in 2024, yet currently still lives in a Columbia-owned apartment in Manhattan. Thought that was interesting. Manhattan. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice area of New York. He worked as a program manager at the Syria office in the British Embassy. He worked for, so this is a British organization he worked for. He led the Syria Sheving program, I'm pronouncing that wrong, which is a prestigious UK government international scholarship scheme. So he decided who gets scholarships and based on whatever criteria. Prior to joining the British Embassy, he worked with something called JUSOOR, which is a Syrian American educational nonprofit. He's worked for all of these NGOs that are all connected to the UN, that are all connected to power players in DC, that they all scream Klaus Schwab, young global shaper to me. Mm-hmm. And they might actually have a direct connection to that. I just haven't had enough time to research it, but I'll show you something that he's scheduled to do here in a couple months. He also served on the Youth Advocacy Board of a global partnership for education, a multi-stakeholder partnership and funding platform that aims to strengthen education success in developing countries. That's the type of thing that sounds like USAID, which some of these organizations I looked up that he's tied to are also tied to. And you check this out. I have a feeling that he will be back in the country, even if he is gone, which he might never leave, in time to do his speech that he is scheduled to do.
Jeez.
On June, it's like June, whatever, doesn't matter. It's in June. He's scheduled to give a talk at the Society for International Development, their annual conference in Washington, D.C. This is another NGO, a USAID NGO, and this is his profile on their page. This is not a guy who's a random student who happened to be the voice of something. This is a trained operative who was sent to Colombia to do a job, and he appears to be backed by, at least in part, the British. Where'd it go?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Mohammed Khalil works as the program manager at the British Embassy, as I said. He led the program, the prestigious government international scholarship scheme. Yeah, I already wrote all that. Told you about all that. He was responsible for running finance and operations and educational operations. Also, sir, yeah, I think I told you all that. Okay, yeah, has a BS in science, computer science, and at Columbia, he had a diploma in leadership. So that's your activism stuff right there from Columbia University. Yeah. Looking for innovative solutions to tech, and he's a tech guy. They have a program with one of these NGOs.
Diploma in leadership is
leadership is activism. That's what these so all these programs they probably this was probably like almost like a doctorate thesis. We need you to go lead the protest for your doctorate thesis. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly.
Huh.
I
Yeah.
think he's an operative.
Okay. I'll buy it.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if he. My prediction, of course, it'll take a while for this to come true. That he's in elected office in like 5 or 6 years. As a progressive. Yep.
Yeah.
You don't like that guy, I can tell.
I don't like that guy. I got to be honest with you. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't.
I
I got to be honest with you, man. I get it. This is a couple of tough things for me. This is one of them. You know, I get it. Free speech. I'm a free speech advocate. But when people use the principles and values of Western civilization has given the world to try to destroy it, it makes me want to wring their fucking necks. And that's all I want to say. That's all I want to say on the subject.
Right. Yeah. I also, again, think that if he gets deported, it'll be back, and the deportation, this whole experience, will be the platform he runs for office on in 5 years.
Yeah.
And then he fundraises like, this is how these provocateurs work. It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but it's how they work.
Well, he doesn't have my vote, Brad.
He doesn't
I'll
have
never
my
vote
vote
for
either,
him.
that's for sure. I'll tell you whose vote he will have and who he will be featured on prominently.
What's that?
Rachel
Oh,
Penis Neck Maddow.
Mr. Maddow.
Just a little bit. Won't play too much of this. I went through the indivisible activist stuff that they're going to be doing next week. I went through all the resources on last night's show, and right in tune, Maddow she is the national platform for Indivisible. I mean, her show is pure activism, and here is her talking about what they're going to be doing next week is trying to force Republicans to have town halls so that they can get all these Democrat indivisible activists there to ambush and scream at them. And I went through all the questions they're going to scream at them, which are all like, why are you still raping your wife type questions? And I showed that they give you these pre-printed sign documents so you can print the signs yourself and take them. And I showed all of the signs that they're going to see people holding up and the email scripts and all of it. And if they can't get the Republicans who are at home during recess to hold a town hall, which many of them won't because they already did this once, and they do this every single year. So the Republicans are like, why would we go there? We know we're going to get harassed. What they're going to do instead is they're going to do the open chair town halls with a bunch of ridiculous stuff. And either way, it's going to be on MSNBC, and it's going to be in the national news. But instead of just an empty chair, they're going to be having Democrats from other precincts come in and be outside agitators. I played a clip last night of Tim Walz saying, they accuse us of having outside agitators come in, and then 2 seconds later, he says he's going to go to another district. He's going to go to 3 different districts, and he's going to go to an open chair town hall as an outside agitator. Like literally in the same sentence. Like, yeah, just admitting what it is. And so that's what these Democrats are going to be doing. They're going to these Republican-led districts so that it will make news, because you can't just have an open chair without a prominent figure there.
That's true.
And that's what Rachel Maddow is going to be telling us about right here. Chris Maddow. That's right, AJ. Rachel Madcow. Bad Christian.
Don't let anybody tell you that pushback doesn't work. Don't let anybody tell you that yelling and making a fuss doesn't matter, or that journalism doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't always matter, but honestly, it's the only thing that ever does. Every single time you don't try, you lose.
Journalism's the only thing that ever matters in pushback.
She said sometimes it doesn't matter, but say that again. That was a mind fuck of a sentence there.
That's what she does. Nothing she says makes sense.
And making a fuss doesn't matter, or that journalism doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't always matter, but honestly, it's the only thing that ever does.
What does that mean? What does that mean? It doesn't. What does that even fucking mean?
Oh no, dude.
All right.
This is like a parody in and
I
of
love
itself.
it.
Says Cosmic Cowboy.
Every single time you don't try, you lose. But sometimes when you try, you win. It's the reason it's worth trying.
Coach
And so now
Maddow.
this is the
Yeah, she's
Fucking
like,
Coach Maddow, man. We're down. Oh my God.
right.
I love it.
headline at the Washington Post as of 7 o'clock tonight. Quote, Social Security scraps far-reaching cuts to phone services after Post report. Quote, the Social Security Administration late Wednesday abandoned plans it was considering to end phone service for millions of Americans filing retirement and disability claims after the Washington Post reported that Elon Musk's U.S. DOGE service team was weighing the change. The shift would have directed elderly and disabled people to rely on the internet and in-person field offices to process their claims, curtailing a service that 73 million Americans have relied on for decades. For decades to access earned government benefits.
Right.
But then
we're
nothing
gonna do
happened,
the,
right?
Nothing happened when it comes to the freezing of all that.
Right.
Yeah, no, they didn't. Yeah, it's
Nothing
all
happened.
ginned up stuff. She gets paid a shit ton to talk for 1 day a week. She's actually getting to do this 5 days a week for the first 100 days of Trump's administration. They brought her in to do it. Then she'll go back to her 1 day a week gig.
this. We did good journalism
She's having a
exposing
weird
that this
hair
is what they
She what?
She's having a weird hair day.
It is a little weird. Looks like she woke up.
Yeah. It's a very...
She slept on a couch to me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, 3 people have gotten fired this week. What have they gotten fired from? All right, here she talks about what they're going to be doing next week because she gives the example of success here, which is kind of a ginned up example.
were planning on doing. And the resulting eruption scared them and made them not do it.
The eruption.
Pushback matters. Exposing what they are doing matters. Demanding Republicans fill the chair, show up, invite the witnesses in, let us question people. Demanding that Republicans actually...
I figured it out with Rachel Maddow. The direction that I would give her if I'm her news director and I'm directing her news acting, I say, Rachel, I want you to act like you're at a restaurant and someone came over and spilled shit all over your food.
Right.
Just do that for the whole segment.
It's every single thing that they do, right?
Every single thing. She looks like she's complaining to a waiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually answer for what Trump is doing. Republicans actually explain themselves, try to justify what it is he's doing. It turns out those demands can have an effect.
This is the motivation they're trying. This is all to get people off the couch. This is the activism that MSNBC is. Look at what these people did. It actually worked. Now you need to, if you want to stop this dictator and this takeover, then you need to do this, and you need to show up to these town halls that we're going to have some of your favorite Democrats showing up to.
Which is why you see people all over the country pushing everywhere to get answers out of these guys.
Central Georgia voters say their congressman does not hold town halls, so they plan to hold one without him.
They plan to gather outside Congressman Austin Scott's Warner Robins office. Hunter King spoke with organizers who say the congressman has not held a public town hall in more than a decade.
Some Central Georgia voters say they want to be heard by their congressman.
I can't imagine that he's going to be there. I could be really surprised.
When they say some Central Georgia voters, what they mean are indivisible activists.
Right.
But we have a lot of questions for him, and that we would like some answers.
The fact of the matter is they work for us, and we should not have to scream and yell and jump up and down and hold town halls for them on their parking lot in order to get their attention.
Organizers are planning on gathering here at Congressman Scott's office in Warner Robins, just outside of the building, and holding their own town hall. This will all go down on Monday morning. Their concerns range from voting rights to potential cuts at Robins Air Force Base.
Did you say potential cunts at
Yeah.
cuts?
We can't let any more cunts on the Air Force Base.
The two groups planning the town hall event are organized via Facebook and comprised of around 200 people. They hope other people will also join them too. Reporting in Warner Robins, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
That's where we just were.
It's
Oh my
Republican
God, that's
Congressman
exactly the building.
That's where we
That's
just were from
exactly
the Libertarian
the building.
Convention.
Austin Scott of Georgia, who apparently has not held an in-person town hall in more than a decade. He's now refusing his constituents' requests that he hold one. And so they're going to be holding one themselves in the parking lot of his district
Holy
office
shit.
on Monday.
She's acting like
hoping that
this
he
is
shows-
just...
Wonderful.
Oh my God.
It's brave.
Well, she's acting like it's all impromptu, like this is just...
Right.
It's not
like,
organized.
Like I don't have a document from Indivisible that.
Like this is just an organic thing. People are so frustrated. They're just going to show up to this parking lot.
Yeah.
That's in central Georgia. As Republican members of Congress continue to refuse to meet with their constituents, you are seeing local news like that package and like this account in Green Bay, Wisconsin today, where Republican Congressman Tony Wheat is being criticized by his constituents for refusing to meet in person and for only taking what the constituents described as pro-Republican, carefully screened calls on a recent teletown hall that he held because he didn't want to hold one in person.
Why would they?
Same thing unfolding in the local press in Colorado with Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd.
Force mommies there.
Tonight, Republican Congressman Jeff Hurd is defending his decision to hold a town hall by telephone instead of taking questions in person from the Coloradans he represents. This comes days after NBC News reported that House Republican leaders are urging the members to stop having in-person town halls.
Wow, that guy's mad.
As appreciative as we are of a teleconference and as efficient as that can be for you, is it possible to have schedules of times when you're going to hold in-person town halls to have a little bit more personable interaction?
I think it's important for me to see folks face-to-face. What I would say is I want to make sure that it's a productive dialogue.
It's important for me to see folks face-to-face. Not that important. Not so important that I'm actually going to do it. Last night we talked about this newly emerging dynamic where
just don't have the town hall. Just
right.
You know, or have one, but make it a teletown hall.
Yeah, you know, I thought that she went into all the Democrats are going to be showing up a little sooner than this, but she's about to.
Democrats are holding town halls for the constituents of Republican members of Congress who won't.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan was here on this show last night to talk about holding an in-person town hall in Wisconsin near the district of Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden, who apparently won't meet with people in his district in person. But hey, what do you know? After Mark Pocan did that this weekend, met with Congressman Derek Van Orden's constituents this past weekend. And then after he got a ton of local press coverage for having done that, after he was here last night to talk about having done that, wouldn't you know, hey, today Republican Congressman Derek Van Orden did decide to hastily get on Facebook Live and call that a town hall today in the middle of the workday. Maybe because it seemed to have been organized on quite short notice, it did not go great. I'll show you what I mean. See if you can follow his logic here.
When the DOGE group got together and they went with the different agencies and they said that they need to target, they need to try to target a certain amount of folks for employment, that was handed over to the agencies. So all the people that you've heard about being released from different agencies, that was on the agency itself. It had nothing to do with DOGE. So let's remember that. And there's also a way to seek redress if you think that there's somebody out there that should not have been terminated for employment. Get a hold of the DOGE folks directly or through us, and we'll help try to rectify that.
Look at that smile on
So
her
first
face.
of all these firings of people who have federal government jobs.
All right, so that went way too long. I thought she does go more into it throughout. Like this whole segment is on all since now it worked. All the Democrats are going to be going and holding town halls in the Republican districts that aren't even theirs, talking to constituents, which are just activists. And then MSNBC is going to blast it all over the news, just like she did. And they're going to act like it's this big wave. And then you'll see these Republicans try to do these stupid digital, like that guy's ears are cut off because they don't know how to use Zoom yet still, I guess. Like still, how long has it been? They haven't figured that out a little bit.
Brad, I need a second.
Okay. Yeah, so it's interesting the way they can fabricate the appearance of something going on, a movement building that's not actually real. It's all connected through these mobilize.us is what it's called, and indivisible emails, and it's propped up on this major platform of MSNBC and CNN, and it's spread on X, and it's spread on all of the other social media platforms as well. It's an interesting study of organizing. Like, if you want to organize something yourself, go to the Indivisible. Oh, yeah, we're done with Rachel. We're done with Rachel. Bad Christian says Rachel's voice gives him an inward erection. That's called a vagina. An inward erection sounds painful, actually. Yeah. So she definitely moans when she talks. Oh, when she takes a dump. Yeah. No. Oh my God, you're probably right about that. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to show you there. So I wanted to follow up on that because if you are in a town where your dude is not going to do a town hall, you can go watch one of these if you want. And you can go look at the signs and listen to the chants. And you can go pretend to be one. There is a Stop Doge protest at Marietta Square, about 20 minutes from me, this Saturday. There is a Stop Tesla takedown protest about 40 minutes from me where they're going to be occupying the Tesla also on Saturday. All these crazy people are going to be there. Thinking about going to one of them. It's from 1 to 3 on Saturday. Just check mobilize.us, and it will show you what the nearest ridiculous brainwash people are doing, and you can go watch it if you want to see it up close. You can go troll.
What's it called? What's that?
Mobilize.us, I believe, is where they centralize all of that. All right. Enough of Mad Al. Real quick, there was this story about the USAID getting emails to destroy like all of their documents and to shred them and then to burn them and to once the shredder is just out of commission because so many things are being shredded, then start burning stuff. And it was weird because it wasn't clear who gave that directive. Now some people are saying Pam Bondi did, but this is apparently out of the ordinary. I don't think that's good for them to be destroying all of their evidence of the things that they do, because I think there's criminal activity there involved. So I'm curious about where that instruction came from. And connected to that, Johns Hopkins University is laying off more than 2,000 workers after a big cut in the USAID funding. So Johns Hopkins was getting USAID funding, and they lost $800 million in funding from USAID, from the DOGE effort. And the bulk of the layoffs are at top research universities, and it will impact their international employees. They said in a statement that the jobs and the employees across 44 countries have been cut, and roughly 100 employees will be furloughed, blah, blah, blah. So here's my thought on this. That's fantastic. Johns Hopkins was central to the whole COVID thing in propagating a lot of the stuff that led to shutdowns and led to people who might not have wanted to get vaccinated. And Johns Hopkins, at least up until 2022 when the lawsuit was put on hold and it had been okayed by a lower court to go through, was being sued by the descendants of people who were involved in the Guatemalan syphilis project a long time ago, which was a project that the U.S. government conducted through doctors at the Johns Hopkins Institute or University after they did the Tuskegee experiments, because they didn't like having any restraints in the Tuskegee experiments, and they wanted to go to another country where they didn't have to worry about rights, and they would inject syphilis, gonorrhea, anything you can think of into young children. I'm not even going to say it because it's disgusting when you read the documents. These are Johns Hopkins doctors. It was their study. Take the money away. It was probably funded by a similar organization, if not USAID. That's fantastic news.
Yeah, it is good news.
Screw them. Yeah, I might go do some man on the street at one of those, Dana. So CNN is being accused in new court documents of destroying, this is new court documents related to the Diddy case, of destroying the only known copy of that video of him beating his girlfriend in the hallway of that hotel.
What?
This is what the defense is alleging. Yeah, they're saying that they were given the surveillance footage from the hotel, and they uploaded the footage to an editing software, altered it, and then they published it. Then they destroyed the original footage, even though they knew that there was a federal investigation that was going on. And they say that the footage is nowhere. Like, I don't believe that there's no other copy of this, but that hotel's apparently shut down now. But the reason the defense is bringing it is because they're saying they altered the footage by covering the timestamp and changing the sequence, and they sped up the video to make it look like he was falsely beating her faster than he actually was. So it was more of a slow beating, I guess.
So this is a cheap fake.
It's one of the original cheap fakes, it must be.
Huh.
And they're saying that the evidence should be suppressed. This is not a trial regarding that incident, but it would have been presented to show his character and behavioral tendencies. And so now it's like CNN did Diddy a solid if this ends up being true.
So, okay. So, yeah. I mean, this is, I think, another theme here. It's difficult, right? We all know Diddy's guilty of something, right? Something creepy.
Yeah, right. Something really creepy.
Something really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But he does deserve in court.
Of course, he does. He deserves to. You're right, absolutely. Which is weird because I think there's like a documentary out about him now already on Netflix. So
did he do it?
Yeah, right. It's gonna be hard to find maybe unbiased jury. But on similar related news, Maui police chief, his name is John Pelletier. He's been named as a co-conspirator in that lawsuit, that Diddy lawsuit. A co-conspirator, saying that he was posing as a sheriff and involved. So he was a sheriff, but then he was posing as a sheriff for something else, I guess. It doesn't give him much more detail than that. What's weird about this is the dude was a Maui police chief when those Maui fires happened. Remember that? Last year.
And he was the one that told everyone to stay back, stay back.
Right. Yeah.
Like there was a delay in sending
exactly.
out.
Right. So he was also the incident commander during the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. I mean, that's just interesting. This guy is named as a co-conspirator.
From Vegas to Maui.
Vegas, Maui to Diddy. So Diddy was clearly behind the Maui fires and the Vegas shooting. I think we've cracked the case there.
Holy shit. Diddy's a time traveler.
Dude, I told people a couple of years ago, I was like, just wait. Something's going to happen to Diddy because Diddy probably had Tupac killed.
Dude, this is what happens. You get too rich and too famous, and all of a sudden you got to start doing all kinds of crazy shit to get stimulated again. Like Pauly Shore.
Yeah. Burning down. Yeah, that's disgusting. Pauly Shore's trans story.
Only fuck fake vaginas.
If you haven't seen Pauly Shore talk about that,
it's disgusting.
Don't listen to it. It's very, very disgusting. But he only wants to have intercourse with trans women.
Yeah.
Diddy knows too much, probably at this point. Yeah. Okay, let's do a couple more, then we'll.
Watching Son-in-Law now is going to be weird, huh?
I can't even think about Pauly Shore anymore after hearing that story.
We're going to do a Pauly Shore movie-thon?
No, it's over for me with Pauly Shore. He should never told that. I know he was like telling it as a joke, but he's being serious. But you were too descriptive, dude. You were too serious.
It was gross. It was gross.
It was
I didn't make it through the whole
gross
thing.
Yeah. It's like a form of torture if you lock somebody in a room and force them to listen to that story. It's really disturbing because it's so visual the way he I don't even. You're making me think about it now, having heard that story. So, we'll skip the Hunter Biden one. I haven't seen this. Oh, it's very short. But Michelle Obama, you heard about her starting a podcast with her brother?
No.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Well, she's starting a podcast with her brother. Here's her brother.
No.
Here's her brother.
No.
I'm not convinced. I am not convinced this isn't AI. That looks exactly like her.
If she was bald. If she was a bald man.
It looks like a clone of her.
No.
Hey, TikTok. It's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, my God. Sounds like a woman.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson.
And we just posted the trailer if you want to check it out.
Check it out. Thanks, you guys. See you soon.
Notice how they made her.
Why is Craig Robinson doing something like that?
I don't know, dude.
He's funny.
The comedian?
Isn't that who they're talking about, right?
Is that not her brother?
Oh, maybe I'm confused.
Yeah, I think that's her brother.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. That would make more sense.
Yeah.
Is her maiden name Robinson?
Right. But they see how they put her in all this makeup? Because if they don't put her in makeup, she looks identical.
You're right.
to him. And there's another one. There's another video of her.
He's got a real creepy smile. Like he's got this. That's the kind of smile he has. That's the look he has on his face as he's watching you die. That's that kind of smile. It's a really creepy smile.
As he's giving it to Barack.
Yeah.
I'm seriously not convinced that's not AI. It looks like one of those AI videos to me. And here's how they kind of introduced her podcast. Like, I've never started a podcast like this. Let's see if we can find it here. Yeah, it's this right here. This is so... Why do they do this stuff? What is the thinking? Unnerving. I agree, Cosmic Cowboy. So, and this is equally unnerving. I believe this is like her going to record her... Oh, no, this is her dance at Jennifer Hudson's show yesterday, where I think she was talking about her podcast. Why is that not? This is so painful. You know they rehearsed this a number of times.
How many times did they shoot this?
All morning.
All right, guys, we're going to do it one more time, all right? Everyone, now remember, everyone, move your knees. Come on, everyone, really get into it this time, okay? We've got to have a lot of movement. Yeah.
Look how much taller she is than everyone. It's so long, too. It needs to be...
I mean, how uncomfortable is it to walk down a gauntlet of singing people who are singing about you?
Yeah.
How uncomfortable is this?
It's very uncomfortable.
It just soaks it up.
Look at this guy. So you see this? I think there's a lesbian in the green on the left. Watch. You see that?
Do you think, Brad?
Look at him checking. Look at him checking Michelle O out there.
Yeah, that's
checking out that ass.
Yeah. Look at her. She's wearing these white combat boots and a dress and a hoodie.
Yeah. Right. This outfit's very odd. Look how happy that guy on the right is.
I am so glad I don't work in that office.
Dude, that's got to be the worst office.
It's got to be hell. We got Michelle Obama.
I'll tell you what.
In our happy place, we got Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama's a narcissist. I would agree. Are those adults?
Just soaking it up, man. Just soaking it up.
I tell you, they sure met their DEI quota at that place there. All right. Well, I didn't see this. Did you see?
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's almost as bad as the Pauly Shore thing. Mike Obama.
Tonight's been a very difficult show, Brad.
I know. We got to go through the tough stuff.
We've been through a very emotional journey so far.
Well, we're going to end on something a little lighter. And I didn't see this yet, but
I've been angry. I've been disgusted. I've laughed.
Give up whatever might be.
From this distance, she kind of looks like Eric Stoltz's character in the movie Mask.
Yeah.
You know.
Of Kamala Harris's particular fondness for nacho cheese Doritos, for the sake of getting a big bag of Doritos as I watched the Oscars.
That's the consumer behavior.
And that's right, but here's the thing.
What is the thing?
Oh, man, I wish I would have shown the whole thing.
What is the thing?
Yeah, I guess they cut it off. She's like 2 steps away from just puking.
Dude, so drunk. So drunk.
Totally drunk. All right, so finally, and then we'll wrap up.
All right.
I promised you a story about Corgasm.
Okay. I don't know what it is.
Do you know what that
I'm
is?
Interested. No? It sounds Corgasm.
Yes, sounds
health related.
So it is health related. You're right. No,
Sounds-
of course not. No, it's not. Rachel Maddow and Michelle Obama and now cackling Kamala. Right. So everything in your night is going to be optimistic and better. And this right here is going to be so much better than the last video that I'm about to show you. A popular British influencer has shared a strange experience she had at a gym, claiming she had an orgasm while
her
working
core.
out, dubbing the phenomenon coregasm, and here she is describing it on a podcast.
Get off. Literally just from in their brain, not being touched.
Yeah, I've had an orgasm in the gym.
Oh my god, I've had it in the middle of the night when I've been sleeping.
These are two of the
I've had
stupidest
loads in
people
the
on the
dream.
planet.
I've had loads in
What
my
the fuck
dream.
was that?
And they're like the best you've ever had.
I know, but what is that? That's fascinating. I don't get it.
I actually had it, like, I swear, before I even had sex.
You probably did when you were like curious, and that is the instinct of a human being knowing how, like, what you're supposed to do. Isn't that so bizarre?
Yeah, and I definitely remember, like, doing an ab workout in the gym in Newcastle and being like, what the fuck just happened?
An ab work?
Yes, and it's very common, isn't it? Google it.
That is
Promise
so
you.
impressive.
Orgasm.
Oh.
It was like a
Orgasm.
different type of orgasm, but it was something going on.
Oh my god!
You just got to go hard for the core exercises. Give it a go, guys. Let me know if it works out
Oh
for you.
my
I think you've got to, like, be really relaxed.
Okay, so I already have a hard enough time working out at LA Fitness, where there's the thrust machine that the girls that are half naked get on, that they're just popping their pelvic
thing
forward, the thigh thing opening, and it's
thigh
like
thing.
it's like right next to the bench press. People are gonna break their sternum with these pelvic thrusts into midair. Like, what are you doing here,
Brad? I came 3 times on the treadmill this morning.
If you could please remember to wipe down the sweat and semen off of the machine you used before you walk away. They say that. They say make sure you wipe it down. This is a new kind of wiping down here. Apparently, this is actually a phenomenon. According to the head of education at Club Pilates.
Oh, the head of education.
Yeah, Club Pilates, the head of education.
Doctorate in Pilates.
Right. Although it's not common, a coregasm is a real thing. The activation of the deep pelvic floor muscles may contribute to this sensation. Exercises focusing on the core, like Pilates, engage the lowest pelvic floor muscles that contain the area of arousal.
Weirdest marketing gimmick to try to get people to sign up for your gym.
I go to
sign
your
up. You
own
might have an
gym.
orgasm. What?
That's my thing. Is like I don't want to. Like I have a hard enough time, as they say. I just want to work out. I don't.
I know.
I feel like I can't even look up in a gym now because of the videos you see, because I don't want to get hashtag me too for glancing at a girl who's basically in lingerie.
That's why I
doing
work out in my own
pelvic
basement, Brad.
thrust.
Just in my own basement to hair metal music. That's it.
And that girl too. Like, if you have that girl doing pelvic thrust in your basement, then that's a different story. But imagine you're doing the bench press, and this girl's doing the pelvic thrust.
It'd be
This girl.
It'd be very. You'd have to really focus.
This
on
very
what you're
beautiful girl, and she's moaning sexually. You're gonna crack. Your sternum's getting cracked. In that situation, go to your own gym. Why are we watching Brain Damage? So they actually have they say that there's a book about this, apparently. She states that roughly 10% of people, regardless of age, gender, or fitness level, experience this phenomenon. The book is called The Coregasm Workout. There's a book that's being promoted, so that makes a little bit of sense there.
Makes more sense.
And
what about the
lucky
Coregasm
few.
diet?
Right. Yeah. Right. It's
30 days to more coregasms.
Yeah. Well, what is it that you eat?
That would be 69 days to more coregasms.
69 days. You like watermelon or whatever the.
What do you eat?
foods are.
Watermelon, pineapple.
For the lucky few, I don't think it's lucky if you jizz all over yourself in the middle of a workout. It's not. That would feel very uncomfortable, because especially as a guy, if you're in gym shorts, you're gonna be walking around with an erection in the gym.
Right, and then once one guy comes, all the other guys are going to come.
Everybody's going to get real aroused, too. You're doing squats, and slowly you get a boner that sticks up, and everybody's watching, and you got 250
Everyone
pounds
gets
on your
boners.
shoulder.
Everyone's having orgasms. Nobody can work out.
Then you finish, and 250 pounds collapses you to the ground.
My God. I totally recommend watching the movie Orgasmo if you've never seen it, Brad.
No, I don't think so.
You should watch Orgasmo. Everyone should watch the movie Orgasmo.
Bad Christian says that once he arrives, no one else in the world matters to him. So it does say what exercises to do. It says they generally feel similar to vaginal intercourse, but a little more dull, less intense. They seem to last about the same length of time, and they occur from exercises with heavily engaged core abdominal muscles. And it won't happen on the third or fourth crunch, but when they fatigue their core muscles, and it's going to happen to men or women. So basically, if you didn't work out hard enough to jizz, then you didn't work out hard enough.
Right, guys get an abrection.
Other exercises include, along with crunches, leg lifts, knee lifts, hip thrusts, squats, hanging straight leg raises. So you're dangling with a boner from the pull-up machine.
These are all exercises that can
get you off, dude. It can just get you off. Sit-ups, weightlifting, climbing, pull-ups, chin-ups might do the trick. So if you have some sort of guilt about masturbation, just go pump iron really hard until you blow your wad. Yeah, so there we go.
My goodness.
That's it. Coregasm.
It took us till 2025 to figure this out.
Right, we don't need women. We can jizz all over the gym.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ian, for indulging me today. It's
thank
been
you,
a roller coaster of emotions.
Thank you, Brad.
Today. Thank you guys for hanging out in the chats and the comments, and we'll do it again soon. You guys have a fantastic weekend. Goodbye. Oh, propagandafight.com. Follow us on X at Freedom Act Radio. Ian at Reginald V. Actor.
Yep.
And
invite us to your city.
Invite us to your city or town or whatever.
And put us up for a weekend. We'd love to come spend a long weekend with you.
Come do a personal show with you on a long weekend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No coregasms. No coregasms. See you later.